Hi, I'm Doug from the Vintage Showroom and really excited to be joining you once again with the Kingpins team for this Inspiration Day. Last time around I did a piece about that cult anti-western, the Misfits. We looked at amazing photography of the Magnum team, Marilyn Monroe and some beautiful vintage denim. This time we're bringing it a bit closer to home with a look around West London, which is obviously the home of our main showroom. So when we set up the archive some 14 years ago now, inspiration really was fundamentally the focal part of the business. And I think how we curate our physical space in West London and our digital archive TVS images is really the cornerstone of our success within the industry and why we've gotten to work with some truly inspirational designers, creatives, and brands over that time. So today we wanted to give you a further insight into what we do and what inspires us and how we turn those first sparks of inspiration into a bigger story that we can take to clients. So I hope you enjoy and come with me when we take a trip down Portobello Road. Thanks. The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. I've always loved this quote from the opening lines of L.P. Hartley's The Go-Between. Much of what we do is based on this journey into the past, bringing back snapshots of earlier times in the forms of garments or fabrics, photographs or keepsakes. I think most of us would recognise how intoxicating nostalgia can be, especially after the strain of the last year. So let's indulge a little more as I take you to West London. It's 1967 and we're on the world famous Portobello Road. So we're actually walking along Portobello Road in 1970 here. This is a short excerpt from the amazing counterculture documentary Getting It Straight in Notting Hill Gate, which was filmed in and around Portobello Road and the surrounding Notting Hill area, which at the time was described as the world's most integrated ghetto. Recently, we've been working on a research project around the history of Portobello Road. Somewhere very close geographically, just a stone's throw from where I'm sat today at our West London showroom at Bus Space Studios, and also somewhere very close to our hearts. Both Roy and myself having spent many years selling vintage there, and in fact that was where we met and first dreamt up the idea of the vintage showroom some 13, 14 years ago. And I think we're particularly drawn to the period around the late 1960s when it really was the most vibrant and exciting of areas in the UK. With Portobello Road as the backdrop for our inspiration, it is the Portobello market itself where our muse, Marsha Hunt, recalls first hearing of the auditions for a new musical that would change British theatre forever. The 27th of September 1968 saw the curtain come down on the Lord Chamberlain's Act, an archaic censorship law dating back to 1737. It seems fitting that later that night a cast of long-haired actors would take to the stage of London's West End in a show depicting drug-taking, anti-war protests and nudity. I am of course talking about the opening night of Hair, the American tribal rock musical, of which Marsha Hunt was part of the original London troupe, and the inspiration both for the original artwork for the musical's poster and along with her cast members, our concept today. Hair was a musical that placed the 1960s counterculture on stage. The show's rejection of monogamy, celebration of interracial relationships, acceptance of homosexuality and full frontal nudity was groundbreaking, and too much for many in the audience on the opening night in London, as the youth movement came alive on stage, full of energy and vitality. The travel restrictions have really been a challenge for us during the pandemic. So the Vintage Showroom was set up to work with overseas design teams predominantly, and we've got this amazing showroom space that suddenly we had very few appointments for, just really working with British brands and British film and TV productions. So what that made us do is really challenge the way we were looking at TVS images and really reconsider the site, moving away from an image licensing platform to more being a digital representation of our showroom archive. So we now have 1,000 pieces that are available to rent sat on the site, which our customers can call from. And we still have the image reference facility and people are still using it as a digital inspiration, but you can also now call up the assets themselves. We really loved Marsha Hunt's look in the rehearsals, the kind of mix of quite a bohemian feel, typical of what you'd expect of the kind of counterculture movement, but also with that kind of varsity top, just gave it a really, really great look. So we tried to capture that when we were setting up the rigs, and that was one of the first looks we came up with, was this keeping this kind of American football jersey style, which obviously is very like Gucci at the moment. And we wanted to both sort of pull garments that had a lot of character. We were conscious that if we had been dressing the stage, the stage production, what would have been coming across on stage. So really exaggerated patchwork, beautiful fades, some sort of interesting hand customized pieces, and mix of kind of late 60s, early 70s really gave us our kind of build out of the rigs for this story, which of course we would have loved to have shown you in person in Amsterdam, but we hope it comes across in the photos. So that's about it. Thank you for joining. I hope you've enjoyed our inspiration presentation today and enjoyed wandering around Portobello Road. It's been a lot of fun putting it together for everyone and digging into the past of the area a little bit, and of course to meet all the cast of Hair. So everything we've done today is available from our archive. If you've got any questions or queries, please get in touch to me at info@thevintageshowroom.com, and we hope to see you all in person soon. So peace and love to all the Kingpins family, and we're going to play you out in true style, so enjoy.